Hello, fellow creators and people that have been watching my videos, following the channel. Today, I want to talk to you about something very exciting. This video is going to be something that you've probably been waiting for a long time, and I apologize if it took this long. But I promise you, this video is going to stay short because we're going to go right away into just how everything is going to be structured. The best part is that we're going to take advantage of the Wix members app, meaning you don't have to create any custom dashboard. You literally just have to install the app, add the code. And before we even start it, I want to mention how this works so that way it's going to be very easy for you to follow. So one of the things about using the Wix members app is that it has two parts of it. It has what's called the private collection and the public collection, right? Which is like the private stuff is things like their email, password, things like that. And then the public things is like information that you want to show. In the past, it hasn't been available to be able to tap into this. But now with this code that I'm going to show you, you'll be able to reference that collection with your either listing, job posting, or any type of collection that you want to have for members to be able to create their own directory. So, that being said, let's dive into this. Probably you've seen this in my other video. I kind of just give a tour of it, but I never explain how it was created, how it works. But this is pretty much just a quick sample that I made for a pet friendly place where you can rent an apartment, and it's mainly for people that have pets so they can just find places or houses that allow dogs or cats or whatever pet, right? So this concept can be used for anything, for a job, for finding a place, selling items, anything. So how it's gonna work is we're gonna go into this page right here, and we're gonna start from scratch. So when we go on this item right here, we're gonna go into build with the Wix editor. Now, one thing to know is that this code also works with the Wix Studio. And the only reason why I'm gonna show you with the classic editor is because still a lot of people don't have access to Studio. If you do want to have access to Studio, send me a message and I can send you a template. But if you don't have access to, or you're already working on a website that's built on the classic editor, then this is gonna be very easy. So the page might look a little bit different. Today is September 11, 2023, and it's like the latest version that you're gonna find. Now on your end, it might look a little bit different on the dashboard because you might not have access to Studio, but again, it's still the same concept. The reason why I start from scratch usually and I don't use a template is because I don't want people to think that I didn't add some steps and I skipped something, right? So in this case, we're just gonna go as if we were creating something. We're gonna name it demo listing, and then we're just gonna click next. So we're going straight into actually creating the listing directory website. So as you can see here, it gives you three options. We're not using editor X. We're not also using the ADI. So we're just gonna use create a website with the Wix editor. In your case, again, this might look a little bit different, but again, it's just a regular Wix. You can click Start Now, and you'll have the classic template that Wix always have. In this case, I'm just using a blank template, and I'm gonna click Edit. Now that we have this right here, imagine this is if you already have a website, it's the same thing. If you already installed the members app, it's just going, you can skip a little bit to where we're going to add the app, and it's going to be very, very simple. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to go on app market, and under apps, and then you can just type members area, and this is the one. Again, this option also gonna work for the Wix Studio. So if you're building already on Wix Studio, you can use it, which I highly recommend because it has better tools. It had more stuff that they're adding, the responsiveness. There's a lot more things going on there. And again, for a directory website, I think that's gonna be the best option for you. So all you have to do is just add to the site, and once you do that, you're gonna go on the left panel and you're gonna see now it shows this option right here called members area. So the members area is already created, right? So you have your dashboard, and then you can also manage fields. But I wanna show you this option right here. You wanna click where it says developer mode, then you're gonna turn it on. Once you turn on the developer mode, then there's gonna be two panels that are gonna open. This one on the left and this one on the bottom. For now, we're just gonna minimize this and this other option right here. Then I want you to go here on CMS, which before they used to call it database. So the name just changed, but it's pretty much the same thing. Then you're gonna go to collections, right? And as you can see here, is asking you to create a collection. So the thing that we're going to do here is we're going to create the collection that you're going to use for your project. So if let's say you're doing a listing website for realtors, then this will be either properties. If you're doing a listing slash directory for jobs, then this name will be job collection, or whatever you want to name it. In this case, what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be uh, calling it, because I'm gonna be recreating the same website as this one, which is just a listing. So I'm gonna name it listings. So I'm gonna create a collection, get started, and then I'm gonna name it listings, like that. And then I'm not gonna do anything yet, just leave it the way it is, and then just create. So once we create the listing, we're not gonna add anything yet because I just wanna keep showing you again the parts that we need to have ready. So as you can see here, once you go on the left panel, you also have the dynamic pages. And again, this is something that we're gonna be using in a little bit, but we're gonna go back to the CMS. We're gonna go to collections, and there it is, right? So now you're gonna go under the three little dots, and then you're gonna do permissions and privacy. And then this is where you're gonna have the option to select what you wanna show. Who can view the content? In this case, we want to make sure everybody can view the content, right? Because if I create a listing, I want that to be visible. So on this part, it's going to be anyone. Who can add content? I only want the site member to be able to add the content, right? So this also makes the information on that collection be only visible to the people or the person that added the information. So anytime somebody else creates a listing, that person only sees their own content. And then who can delete it? I will say the same thing, site member. And then who can update the content? I'm gonna just put also site member. In this case, sometimes on add content, you can also use, on who can delete content, you can also use site member author. So that way only that person can do it. So either way, it will work. So then you just click save. So once we're here, I want to show you what I mentioned earlier, right? So we're going to go back here just in case you missed this part. You're gonna go where it says Wix app collections, and as you can see, you have what's called the private members data and the public data. So this is part of your app right here, which is this one right here. Which this is where like the login information gets storage. So we're gonna go back here so I can show you what it is, and we're gonna go on the private members data. So when you click there, you're gonna be able to see the email that was used for creating, an account. And this is what we wanna reference with the database that you just created for your listing. So to not confuse, we're gonna go back here into the collections, and then we're gonna go into the collection that you created. And then the first thing I will add is a field, and then right here I'm gonna select what's called reference. And why you want to use reference is, again, because we're gonna make sure that anytime somebody submits the data to this collection, is also affiliated to their email, so that way, again, it's gonna work for them to only see the data, update the data. So hopefully that makes sense and I'm not confusing you. So once you select this option, we're just gonna name it reference members. Okay, so it's gonna look like that. And then right here, we're gonna have this option, which is private members data. And then we're gonna click save. So what is this gonna do is whenever somebody goes, like in this example, and they will add a listing, right? If you have a pricing plan, I'm also going to show you how to do that part. But let's say once they do that and then they click sign up, the other information, it gets affiliated to any posting or listing that they do, which again is going to be very simple and easy to do. So once you're here, your job is to add all the content that you want to be able to display. So in this case, we can do text, and then this is going to be listing name. And this is a little bit more advanced. So if you're very new at this, just know that all these are field types. Text is only for, like it says, the name, just text. Image is if you want to add a single image. If you want to add multiple images, then you're going to use media gallery. Boolean is if you want to select yes or no. Number, only numbers, it won't take any text or any other information. Date, if you're submitting some type of date. Time, rich content is if you want the person to have ability to add video, images, text, a lot of that stuff. And then rich text, they can update like sizing, color, things like that, so you give them a little bit more freedom. And then if you want them to upload documents, URL is if you're planning to have the ability for them to click a link and take them to a social page, social media page, things like that. So we're gonna go here and we're just gonna use text, and then we're gonna name it listing name. Okay, so that's there. Then we're gonna use an image, so we're gonna do thumbnail. So this is gonna be thumbnail, and then save. And then from here, we're just gonna do what else? Let's see. We can do description, and then we're just gonna do text, description, and that's it. So because again, I want to keep the video short, I don't want to take too much time. Let's go back here, and we're gonna go to all listings, so I can kind of see show you what it is. So this will be the thumbnail, this will be the listing name. You can also add address, you can add multiple fields, and then once they go into the actual page, you can see here this is a gallery and this is a description, and then there's a map. So very simple. And then right here on the contact listing owner, you can also, you have two ways to do it. Since you're already going to be referencing a member, you don't have to add an email if you want to display an email. If you want to use the same picture that they're going to be using as their account, like this one right here, when they create an account, they can just go and change it. You can use also this data to be displayed. But the only thing is, if you do that, many times people get confused. So just make sure you decide how you're going to do that part. So we're gonna go back to the collection again, just to make sure we got all the stuff that we need, right? So we have a reference member, listing, thumbnail, description, title. We don't need, right? But it's fine right there for now. And then listing name, we can make the primary, so that way, whenever we create anything, this is the main thing that's gonna show. But again, we'll do that after. So we're just gonna close this, and Now we're gonna go into the most important part. This is where you really wanna make sure you pay attention. So we're gonna go into the actual members area right here under pages, and we're gonna add a member page. And we're gonna go to custom pages and then just add a private page. So once you do this part right here, this is where the magic begins. So this is where we're gonna be adding the code. So that way, anytime somebody submits a listing, submits some type of data, then it gets referenced and it's gonna show with their information, and they can also update it. We're gonna rename it to edit settings, and we're gonna name this add listing. Again, yours can be add job, add property, whatever you want to name it. That's doesn't matter. So once you do that, then we're gonna scroll this a little bit, and then right here we're gonna add our fields. So once you turn on the developer mode, you'll be able to see this input part right here. So we're gonna add this element right here, and this is gonna be the name of the listing. So we can say something like listing name. Okay, and then just copy this, paste. Okay, and then we're gonna add another field, and then this is gonna be like, it could be description. Since I think description might take a little longer, so let's delete that one and let's add an actual input right here, and then we're gonna do a text box that's a little bigger right there, and then this one will be description, and then that's it. And lastly, we're gonna go here, and then we're gonna add a button so they can upload their thumbnail. So it's gonna be right there. And that's it. So this can be something like thumbnail. And we're gonna need a button. And the button is gonna be submit. Okay. And then this can be changed to submit. So there's something important to know about this part, because if the person is allowed to add multiple listings, then you need to set this in a way that when they add a listing, they have a way to update the listing, right? If it's only a single listing, then you can get away by just creating a second page, calling it update listing. So there's two ways to do it. You can add a whole page and name it update listing, and then just add the same fields. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more detail about that part. But again, this video was more to kind of show you how to use the reference at the listing, but we're not going to go too much in details about updating that. So the second option is using a box. So if we go here using a multi-state box, what it does is you can just add this right here. Let's actually drag it right here, and you can add your form on the first state. So let's say we do this. I'm selecting all of this, and I'm going to drag it right here, and I'm going to attach it to this part right here. Okay. So as you can see, there's one state. If I click manage state, I can duplicate this one. So now I have two states. And what it does is we can use a little bit of code to decide to add two buttons, right? So we can have a button here, and this is gonna say update listing. Okay. So you have update listing. So anytime they go into the page, and let's actually preview, and they click add listing, they'll first see the form, as you can see here. So they can see their account. So they'll see their account, and then when they go here on add listing, they'll see the add listing form. And then if they already added a form, then they can click on update the listing, and they'll be able to see the other part, which we're gonna connect after. So going back to the form, again, you can set it on different ways. You can do this way, It takes a little bit more time, a little bit more skills, because then you have to code the button. So you tell it on click, change this box to the other stuff. If you think this is more complicated, then what I would do is just have a second page. So we're gonna delete this multi-state box. I will copy this. Okay. Oh, it deleted my button. Let me just add it again. Um, and then so, so again, I will have all my stuff here, and then I will go back to pages and add a new member page. Go to custom pages, private, and then right here, I can just rename this update listing. Okay. So now you have a second page where they can go and update their own listing. So as you can see here, you have that on the menu. And if you don't like this layout, you can also change it for a different design. The one that they have is this one right here. So you can do, where you go? Okay, you can do the card. So it will be like on the side, and then your menu will be on the left. You can put all the content here, whichever works for you. Again, there's no wrong or right. It's more of a preference. So on the add the list, update the listing, the thing is you're gonna be able to add either the same fields, so they can just change it. If you're adding multiple listings, then I recommend you use a repeater, so that way you can go and update each one. So in this case, we're gonna add an option right here, and we're gonna go to the text input. So we're just gonna add this right here, and let me see here. Push this down. Okay, so this one is gonna be uh, in this one I would add it on the placeholder, because once you have content there, it won't show. It will show the data that was added. So I'll add it at the top. So here I will do listing name. So as you can see here, because this is the update listing, I have it on the top, not inside the box. And then I'm gonna go here. Oh, we're gonna go back into the input, and we're gonna do text box, and then this is gonna be same thing. So we're not gonna add anything inside the placeholder, and we're gonna add a title, description, and then in this part we're just gonna add again the button. Um, right here. Sometimes people have, well, many times people have asked me if there's a way to see the current pictures that are on the collection, and then you can update them right in there. It is possible, but it's just a very long process. So that's why I have it this way. Hasn't been a problem, but if you want something more like that, I will have to make a video just for that step. So this one, it's gonna be named update thumbnail, and that's it. Now we're just gonna add the button, and right here, this is gonna be update. Sorry. So as you can see here, let's go preview. We're almost there again. So I get a lot of people complaining that I take too long on my videos sometimes, but I just want to also be fair to people that are learning and want to be able to, see certain things. So add listing, and then account. So it's right there. I'm gonna see why it's not showing the other button. So one thing to also mention is sometimes when things are not working correctly, I will recommend that you refresh your page. And this is happening a lot. People are like, "Oh, it's not working" or something, and sometimes it's just the browser. Chrome, for some reason, usually gives you a lot of problems, but for some reason, I still like it, so I use it a lot. But sometimes I will use Firefox, and then those are the ones that I go to if I have some issues. So if we go to my account again, We should be able to see it. Let me see what's going on here. Okay, it's showing twice. I wouldn't know why. No. Let me do yes. Okay, so I want to see why he's doing this. Oh, he got stretched, that's why. Okay, so we're gonna go preview. And so we're on my account. Then if I go to update listing, this is right there, and then add listing. There you go. So on add listing, we gotta see why I'm missing some things here. Somehow I deleted it. It's fine, we're gonna add it again. Oh, there it is. Somehow it was somewhere else. Okay, it's right there. And then listing right here. And then our button. Okay, so moment of truth is here. So once you have all these details, the only thing you have to do now is just add this code. This is all you need, and pretty much you're done. Literally. Okay. So let me copy. I'm gonna copy the code. Now make sure to go to my website. Um, you can find it on the description, and that's where you can have the code for free. You don't have to do anything. You just go and find it. It's gonna be at the top, and pretty much this is it. This is the code that you need to reference anything that it's added into the listing. So once you add it, if you have a red, most likely it's because there's an error. So in this case, the only thing is because it's missing the data set, which we're gonna add right now. So we're gonna go back to CMS. We're gonna go to add content element, and we're gonna add data set. Okay, so once you add it, automatically it's named dataset 1. But keep something in mind. If you already have some data set because you have work or you're working on something else, you can just update the IDs right here. If you do it, just make sure you don't delete um, any of the items here because it will give you an error. But if you have the dataset 1, so you can see here, then you don't have to do anything. Also, if you prefer, you can always change the ID of the dataset. If you have multiple ones, rename it something else, and then just the one that you want to use for the form, just keep it dataset 1. So we're gonna go to settings here, and then we're gonna go into listings because that's the collection we're doing, and we're gonna have it as write only. So because this is a form that's submitting, so that's why we're gonna connect it now, and then we're gonna do listing name, and then this is gonna be description. This is gonna be thumbnail, and this one is gonna be submit, and the first one. Then we're gonna click this message right here. If for some reason you close it, you can just click the button, click the little snake right here, and then click on add success message, and make sure to find this because sometimes it gets hidden somewhere in the corner. If you don't find it, use this tool and then click on layers, and then you can go and find where it is. You can always highlight it or spotlight, and if you still don't see it, just make sure you use 50 or 20% here just to minimize the screen. You'll be able to find it. Sometimes again it gets put somewhere very out from the screen and you might not see it. We're gonna click this button one more time, and now we're gonna add the failure message, and it's right here. So sometimes I like to just put it on top because again they're not ever gonna show at the same time. It's either gonna show the success message or the error message. So that's it. So now we have the listing part, and if we open this panel right here, you notice there's no errors. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the next page, which is update listing, and then in this case we're also gonna add a element. It's gonna be a data set, Here you don't have to do any code or anything like that, because um, this is already going to be connected, so the data is already going to display the right one. But there's only one thing you have to do, which is a filter. So first you're going to go to listings, right? You're going to do either read, sorry, if you just want to display the data, you don't want them to be able to edit. In this case, we want to do read and write, because we want to be able to update the data in the collection. And then a filter, we're gonna select field, and then we're gonna do owner is login, and add the filter. So it only shows here the data from that specific owner. And we're gonna connect, make sure it's there, listing name, and then we're gonna go here, and then we're gonna go to description, and this one is gonna be thumbnail, and then update, it's gonna be submit, add success, fail message. Is that right here? You notice right now it's gray, and that's because there's no data in the collection. Also, even if there's data in the collection, but because you're editing and it's added by some other member, that's why you might not be able to see it. So we're gonna test this now. We're gonna publish this, and we're gonna go see the page. And this is again very fun, because in this part pretty much you're done. Now just worry about your other design or things, content that you need to add, or other fields. We're gonna click login, we're gonna do sign up, and we're gonna do something like demo 11 gmail.com. We're gonna do 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. No, I'm not a robot. And then sign up, right? So now I sign up, so I can go here and add a listing. And once I go to add a listing, it should be here. So I'm gonna add something like, let's say we're gonna use this template for a job. So let's say it's gonna be HR position. Now right here, we are looking for an HR position, and then the thumbnail. So we're gonna click here, have some random images here, so we can just use this one, open, and then submit. Okay, so it's done. So once I added the content, you'll see I got the success message. If you have an error message, it could be for two things. One is your permissions on the collection are not set correctly, so you have to check that. Or two, it's not connected the right way. Sometimes, even once you connect everything, make sure you go here and check that it is connected. Now, the moment of truth is we're gonna go here into our collection, and it should be able to reference the listing and the email. So we're gonna go here, and perfect. See, this is beautiful right here, because you have your listing, and then you have your um, reference members. So why is this giving us an error? That's something that I probably skip. So what we're gonna do here is, usually you have to also add public collection or field, which the system automatically added this for us. So it's very simple. So when you click here, right, we have to use the name reference. And then right here, all you have to do is leave it as public profile. And then we're gonna select public data. And then we can actually name this public space, and then profile. That's it, and then save. So you could, what I just did right now, you can do it. So if we go here, it's gonna be empty, but normally it will automatically add it. So let's delete this one more time. Okay. And we're gonna go back and add it again. So that's something that I forgot on the first step, but it's fine. Just make sure you add it exactly like this. So you're gonna add a field, name reference, uh, then you're gonna name it public profile, and the collection that you're gonna use is called public data. Okay. So once you do that, then it's fine. We're gonna go back here, refresh the page, and I'm gonna add it again, and it should reference everything. So we're gonna do one more time. So we're gonna name it HR listing position, job position, actually, job position, and then here we are looking for an HR assistant or something. I don't know. Then thumbnail, just gonna use again this random image, and then submit, and then boom, it's done. So once we go on the listing, as you can see here, it's referenced correctly. So earlier we had that error. Now, as you can see, it's gone, but everything is fine. This one, if you don't need it, you can just make this the primary and then you can delete it. But again, what we're gonna do right now is now we're gonna display the data to make sure it is even on the next step. So we're gonna go into CMS, your collections. We're gonna add a blank dynamic page. Add dynamic page, and then we're just gonna use a blank dynamic page, and that's it. We have to add it twice. So once you add it, you're gonna go back, and then we're gonna go in right here on CMS collections, and then add it again. Add a dynamic page, blank, and then add. So one is gonna be displaying all the different posts, jobs, listings, whatever you want to call it, and then the other page is going to be for the details. So we're going to go back here, and but right now they're named the same, so we gotta make sure we click on the three little dots, edit settings, and right here we're just going to delete type listings like that, and click on the side, and you should see the green thing. Now this one is named title. But again, you don't want to name it title because right now we're not going to be adding any data in the collection. So what we're going to do is also once you're having your website live, you want to be able to add the URL, show the name of the listing or name of the person or name of the business. So what we're going to do here is we're going to delete that. Then we're going to add a field and we're going to use listing name. So now let's go back here to the first page, listings all, and then we're gonna add a repeater so that way you can see what we're doing. So we're gonna go here, interactive, and actually let's see if it's interactive. Trying to see where they go. Where is it? List. Oh yeah, it's gonna be under list. Then we're gonna do blank repeaters. Okay, so we're gonna use this one. And again, you can use any style. This is just what I want to use. We're gonna add an image. So let's just use this. I'm gonna make a little square right here. Then just make sure it's 162. There you go. Apply. And then we're gonna add it right here. Then we're gonna add a text. This is gonna be the listing name. So this is gonna be listing name. And let's make this 20. And then a description. So we're gonna go under text one more time. One thing I want to mention is that on the new Wix editor studio, sorry, on the Wix Studio editor, is that you have what's called collapse text. So that means you can put a whole paragraph only display 3 lines, and then when they click show, it will show more information. So that's pretty cool because then your design doesn't look ugly having so many people adding more content than others. So you can set a rule that it only displays 3 lines. I'm gonna be doing a lot of videos about Studio, so hopefully you're excited about that. We're gonna add another button right here, and the button is gonna be so they can go see the details on this. Okay, so now we're just gonna make sure this one is connected to the listings item, and this is gonna be a thumbnail. This is gonna be the listing name. And as you can see here, because we added the reference, you can also display the email or text information, whatever you want. But if you do that, don't use the one from the private members data, because then it's not gonna, your items are not gonna show. You have to select, if you want data from the private collection, you have to use what's called the public profile. So that's the only data that you can display. So just keep that in mind. If not, you're gonna be having errors. Again, getting distracted here. So we gotta find listing name, and this will be the description, or you can name it brief. So we're gonna go here and description. Where's description? That's it. And then right here on the button, we're gonna go and we're gonna connect it to the listing names. Now this will take us to the detail page. So when we go here, now we can have, let's say, a different design where it's going to show more details. So we can do image. So let's add this right here, and then we're going to add a big title. And again, the design, it's however you want to do it, and you can add as many elements you want. So it's listings name and text, or listing name, whatever you want to name it. Again, this is just going to be dummy text because anyways, it's going to be connected to the collection. So I'm going to use thumbnail. Oh, my bad. No, it has to be thumbnail. Okay. And then this one has to be listing name. So listing name, and then this is going to be description. And we're almost done. Okay, let's go here. Make sure we add into the menu. This again, make sure it's there. And then we're gonna add our menu right here, add an item. We're gonna do all listings, and this is gonna be all jobs, and then publish. Okay, so pretty much we're almost done here. I'll go here, I'm just gonna close this one, and then hopefully loads. Okay, so once you load here, if we go to all jobs, you see the job that I just added with that account. And oh, I didn't update the button, so here, let's update this button. Details. And you can name it anything. Again, this is mainly just to show you the code, and how pretty much you can do whatever you imagine now. So again, you have your logo there. Once I click details, it should take me to the detail page. As you see here, is right there. Then if I go to my account and I click update listing, right? I'm gonna go to update listing. As you can see, it's right there. So I'm gonna do instead secretary position, and we are hiring, and I'm gonna change the picture. So I'm gonna use this one instead, and then update. And then I should see the success message. So if I go here on all jobs, it's right there. So as you can see, it got updated. So see, it's very simple. Now I'm gonna log out. This is something that I'm gonna now try with a different account. So we're gonna sign up. We're gonna name it demo 12. Password 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Robot at gmail.com. Sign up, and then this is just a message from there. I'm gonna go add listing, and as you can see here, if I go directly to update listing, it's not gonna do anything because there's no data, so it won't let me click. So I have to add a listing here. So let's name it listing name. Could be manager manager position. So, manager position. Okay, we're gonna add a different thumbnail so it's easy to recognize. Let's do this one and then submit. So again, usually also if you're gonna add a gallery, because you can add as many fields now to your collection, you're not limited. Even if you add a gallery, make sure to let the user know, have a little text that said, if you're uploading multiple images, it might take a few seconds because you don't want people to think that it's not working. Because sometimes people have very heavy pictures. So if they're uploading something, it might take a little longer to load. So that's why it's important to know those details. Let's see. Oh, if it's not showing, this is something that I'm missing here. The data set automatically picks one. So here you can set a limit of, let's say, 20. Okay. And then we're going to add a button here. This is something that I would normally do because you never know how many listings you're going to have. So here, before I forget, I'm going to name it load more, and then click the button again, and then we're going to select this and then click load more. That's it. So now what's going to happen is your data set automatically gonna display 20. You can put as many more, but again, it's gonna give you this message that it might be slow, whatever. So just keep that in mind. I'll put 20, but you can also have the load more button. So now when I refresh, because I didn't add multiple items, you can see it's right there. If I click details, it's there. So also, one thing is once you hit 20 items, this button gets activated automatically. So you don't have to do anything. Again, hopefully what's it called? Hopefully this video, it's gonna help you do a lot of great things because again, it makes it much easier to just tap into the Wix members area. And again, the code is very easy. All you have to do is copy paste, and that's it. And you can add as many fields in your collection. So not gonna affect what the code is there for. The code is only referencing the data submitted on that form, but it's not gonna affect anything else. So just keep that in mind. So there's no limit on how many more fields you can add. If you want to add a gallery, if you want to add like a date, something like address, things like that. So you can have the freedom to do as much as you want there. I know I mentioned we're gonna add a level of membership. So let's actually do that since we have time. We're gonna go back here. All you have to do now is if you're planning to sell membership levels, then we're gonna go in this part right here, scroll, and then all you have to do is use what's called Wix pricing plans. And it's loading. Okay. So the one that you want to use is Wix pricing plans. And once you add it, just select right there, and then it's gonna be added. So that's the bonus I'm gonna give you at the end, which is this part. So as you can see, it added automatically. It has some stock plans right here, and this is where you can manage what you would like to do. So This is going to be a little bit more advanced, and I'll explain why. So first, we're going to create a plan, start now, and we're going to have, let's say, basic. Okay. You add the details here. Let's say basic, upload one image. This is just an example. And let's say this is free. Okay. And then you can set it to auto cancel, or you can also set times on how far you want it to go. So we're just gonna click onto cancel. And then you decide if you want to allow them to cancel or not, and then save. So that's our first plan. Second plan we're gonna create is gonna be this option right here. We're gonna name it BAP, and we can have it upload up to 12 images. And then again, we can set it to $50 per year. Just an example. And then the plan, oh, cancel that. The plan is gonna be onto cancel, right? And then save. So now you have two plans. So what you're gonna do here is when you're on the members page, right? And then you are under adding listing. That's what I say. This part, it can be a little bit more complicated. So I'm just kind of giving you an idea what's gonna happen. So what I would normally do is I will duplicate this item, right? And this is for the thumbnail. But let's say you have multiple items for like a gallery. On the settings, you can decide how many images you can upload from this one. And then this other item, I'm gonna say that they can upload 12 images. Okay. Okay, 12. So now you're like, well, how's this gonna work? So what I will do is I will put it on top of here, right? And again, there might be other ways, but this is just like a simple way to do this. So I'll put it on top of each other, and then I will actually give it an ID. So this one has 12, but this one has 1, and this one has 12, right? So on this specific thumbnail, I can name it VIP thumbnail 12. Oh, yeah, 12. Again, you can name it anything, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have it as hidden, right? And then I will have to create some code, which again, I'm gonna do a different video, but it's just an idea on how it's gonna work. Then what I do is depending on what level of membership they have, then it's gonna show only those items. So that way, whenever they buy a specific level membership, they can only see certain things. To make it even easier, if you think this is just too complicated, what you can do is, and let's delete this one right here. Okay, what you can do is just go here and add another member page, custom add page, and this one you can just name it VIP and add a specific form of what they're gonna be able to add. So let's say this is gonna be VIP, and then under permissions, all you have to do is only select the members that are paying, and then you can go here and select VIP and apply. So what it's going to do is you can add the same exact form, maybe other fields that you were thinking, I don't know, maybe like a gallery option, things like that. And you also make sure that you're going to do it on the design where all the jobs are going to be displayed. So again, that's why I say it's a little bit more complex, but it's possible. So once you add this option right here, check what's going to happen, right? I can go here. I'm gonna refresh my page, and then if I go here under VIP, it's gonna tell me you don't have access. So I have to explore the plans, and I have to buy the VIP in order for me to be able to access that page. So again, you can do it this way. It's a little easier. But if you want to be more like not have too many pages, then you definitely going to have to use some code. Um, so again, hopefully this helps you in your project. If you have questions, let me know. I'm gonna be adding the code probably tomorrow morning. And if you have more questions, send me a message and have a blessed day.